Welcome back. You're still watching Newslink. The ANC has insisted it's not broke, this despite the failure to pay staff for 2 months, going on to 3. And just yesterday, the party asked on its social media pages for donations. It's also set to increase its membership fees and levies to resolve its financial woes. We're speaking now to the party spokesperson, Pule Mabi, who joins us in studio. Pule, thank you very much for your time. Now, you aren't able to pay staff. It's almost 3 months now. You've asked for donations. Why do you say you're not broke?
Well, morning, Masiko, and morning to your viewers. Of course, we have faced a number of challenges in the past few months as it relates to our own financial standing. And this is largely because of COVID. COVID has affected not just ordinary businesses in this country. Some have folded up and all of that. But it's also affected our ability to mobilize resources in the manner that we would have done. But also you have got the introduction of the Political Party Funding Act, which brought its own challenges. All other political parties are facing their own challenges. Perhaps it could be that they are not talking about them. So it's not an issue of being broke, but what we have also done, which has been addressed in the statement issued on behalf of the Office of the Treasurer General yesterday, was to then make sure that we then push the staff that was previously paid by headquarters, especially in provinces and in regions, to allow provinces to take care of that kitty. Because previously what used to happen is that Lituli House would then take care of the payment of salaries for the entire staff of the African National Congress, meaning at head office, in provinces, and at all the 53 regions. So the conditions now are actually no longer making it entirely possible for head office to be able to take care of that entire kitty. So we should be saying, okay, head office, take care of your head office staff, take care of elections, organizing, DIP, archives, the SGO, and all other activities that makes the organization to run, things that are entirely centralized, which you have got to make sure. For instance, the identity, the corporate identity of the ANC is the same, doesn't change. So you've got to make sure that you keep that at your head office level. But all other issues that deals with human capital, you have got to make sure that you then begin considering possibilities of segregating those to where the services are being provided. If it's people that need to be employed, make sure that they are attached to specific provinces and specific regions, if those regions or provinces are in a position to be able to take care of those. Yes.
Let's go back to the political party funding bill that has just come into effect. This clearly, if we're not mistaken, is the main problem of the ANC. You've had, for instance, political party funders of the ANC, like your Edwin Sodi, who is in hot water right now in terms of scandal and corruption. There was, of course, we know at some point the Guptas were also a funder of the African National Congress. So this political party funding bill seems to be the main issue in terms of us being able to see who's funding the ANC.
Well, I wouldn't say so. Well, it's an act now. I wouldn't necessarily say that that is the main issue. Of course, what it does is that it imposes a number of issues there. One, it imposes disclosure. It also imposes a threshold, meaning that there is a ceiling put forward on how much Maseko would be able to put as a donation, and disclosing. Some of the people that fund the ANC don't really want disclosures. I don't think that it's really because of specific individuals that would have expressed that kind of interest to fund or help the ANC in its own activities. The ANC doesn't belong to those that lead it. The ANC belongs to the people of this country. We have come up with a number of innovative ways, and this really arises out of a meeting that our own officials would have had to look, amongst others, at crowdfunding.
But why wouldn't they want why wouldn't they want their names or their companies to go out to the public?
No, I'm saying this is what the Political Party Funding Act brings about. You know, that you must now disclose and all of that. No, there are people. I mean, I have been Treasurer General of the Youth League in the past. and I've made this point to you, even when we had a press conference at Lituli House, that there are people who fund and who just want to fund. They don't necessarily want to, they don't want to be out there. They're just doing it, not because they are involved in questionable activities. It's really a desire. People subscribe to different values. Remember, you could be staying somewhere, but you don't come to ENCA here on studio and disclose where you stay because you believe that's your privacy. So there are people who are private like that. But I wanted us to move to a very important point that we addressed yesterday in terms of the innovative ways through which the ANC now wants to mobilize funds. And preface this by first thanking the many South Africans, the supporters of the ANC, that have been putting monies towards our crowdfunding initiative. I mean, over the past 3 days, we have been receiving quite a lot of donations. And this is the people of this country. I mean, on my phone here, I'm sitting with a lot of proof of payments. People that have been individually heeding the call that the African National Congress has made through its own social media pages, because it is the people of this country who are going to sustain democracy, the national democratic revolution that is being driven by the African National Congress by supporting their own organization.
Has the ANC, though, seen any difference in terms of the money that comes into the party ever since the bill became an act? Have you seen your coffers run dry because of it? Well,
because the ANC is a donor-based organization, of course, there will be challenges that we experience because of that. But over the past few days, and even through yourselves in the media, there's nothing called a negative story. Through yourselves in the media talking about this, you have actually made you've actually made society as a whole realize that the sustenance of the African National Congress and its ability to be able to discharge the national democratic revolution depends on them. And I can tell you now, Masiko, the kind of, the display of loyalty that they have shown, the different contributions, people have been contributing from 500 rand, 5,000, 20,000, and these are ordinary people who are saying, this is our organization, we are going to make sure that we help it to discharge its own responsibilities.
Let's move from that to your application at the Electoral Court. There are political parties who, of course, said that they'd come with you as a friend of the court, but there are many others who are saying that you're holding the country to ransom. You're going to pause, the elections from happening as soon as they should.
Well, Maseko, there is no way that an organization like the ANC would participate in something like that, where we really undermine the will of our people to express themselves. All we have done now was we will be putting forward an application. We have raised a number of challenges that were caused by a myriad of factors. One, COVID. Remember, under lockdown restrictions,
you can't campaign.
There are things that you can't do. I mean, gatherings, there was a point where political gatherings were just a no-no. And when you opened up for those, you could only allow 50 people to gather. The ANC branch, even the smallest branch of the ANC, has got over 100 people or so. So if it must create, it means it needs 50 plus 1. So it means 51. So already you are outside your. So we have had to find innovative ways through which we could, so that we give our people the space and chance to express themselves, not feeling that they are under any form of pressure. The IEC itself, when it put forward an application to the Constitutional Court, raised the issue of elections being free and fair, and said that under COVID, with the lockdown restrictions, it might be difficult for these elections to be free and fair.
I'm assuming then that as the ANC, you really do believe that if you're given this day, you'll be able to, one, get your things in order, even with your admin staff saying that they don't want to come back to work until they've been paid. And two, you believe that in those municipalities where you couldn't have your names or where the names were rejected by the IEC, you have a chance to win.
The names were not necessarily rejected by the IEC, so we correct it for the benefit of your viewers. It was more systems issues. It could have been because...
There are some who were rejected because they were late, but it's still called in the term of the IEC, as they said, a rejection, not because of the ANC, but because they were late, for instance.
Because I don't want us to even apportion blame on the Independent Electoral Commission, because we have always expressed confidence in their ability to run elections. Yes, but that's why I said there are a myriad of challenges that would have affected that. It could have been that systems delays and all of that. Not that you did not have the data you needed. I mean, the ANC that weekend last weekend began actually inserting the details of all of its candidates across the municipalities where it's standing for elections, including for PR. You know, so there are a myriad of challenges, but the reality is that under COVID, most of the things have been uncertain. You know, you wake up today not knowing if tomorrow you will come to work. You could be told that this whole studio needs to be decontaminated, and therefore you guys have got to work from home. So it does happen.
But go back to my question where I say, are you sure that you'll be able to be on time if you are given that one day, if your admin staff and staff who have not been paid and are part of making sure that you're able to hand in this list say they won't come in until they've been paid?
Well, Maseko, to be fair to our staff, members of our staff have expressed overwhelming loyalty to the African National Congress, even under difficult conditions. The very weekend that we come from, they are the ones that were working around the clock to make sure that the ANC could be able to meet the cut. You know, so it was really about systems issues. It was really about COVID. It's a number of factors that affected us. We still stand on what we put forward to the court. And our prayers are that, and when we joined the IEC application, was that try extend these elections so that, one, you could allow those that could not register, because at the registration weekend, it was also at the very same time that we're experiencing the third wave on our shores. So we believe, and the ANC is not just speaking for itself. We are making this statement on behalf of the rest of South Africa's people, including other political parties, individuals that might be wanting to participate in these elections, because elections really become real when everyone who wants to participate feels that they can participate and also regard those as being free and fair.
All right, Bule Mabe, thank you very much for coming to our studios, and thank you for your time. The ANC National Spokesperson, Mr. Bule Mabe, in conversation with us about the ANC